What is up? Decided to put this one out there. Here we go. This is from May 30th, 2023.
There isn't a courthouse in this state where the people in the clerk's office don't read Turtleboy. It's just a fact, folks. It's undeniable. Let me try to click on this, see what happens. Hook it up. You go to, again, you guys getting 504 years and over 1,000 people a day on the website. Again, but before we get into that, let me just talk about the blog that I just. If this is allowed to happen to Karen Reed, then we are truly living in a banana republic, folks. Like, truly. Karen Reed is a symbol of what our country is supposed to be. Right. And she's supposed to have inalienable rights. And if they can be taken away from her, and her freedom can be taken away from her, and if you literally have to be able to afford someone like Alan Jackson in order to get that freedom, are you really free? Like, what kind of country is this that we allow this kangaroo court system of justice to take place, that we all plainly see in front of us what is happening here? And that's what I got into tonight, or today rather, with the top 50 things. And I thought it was important to write that blog, and we are going to go over that tonight. But before we get into that, let me just talk about the blog that I just did. If you haven't seen it yet, it's getting a lot of traffic. Holy shit. Holy shit. Is the website doing okay? Hopefully it's not crapping up, but it's been up for 22 minutes and it already has 5,000 hits. Crazy, man. We got 10,000. There's 10,000 people on the website right this second. This is the biggest month, by the way, we've ever had in Turtleboy. We surpassed the last month, which was the biggest month before this month. So the hits just keep coming, folks, with this story. I think we're going to get well over 3 million page views this month. So that's average. I think it's around 3 million. So about close to 100,000 people a day on the website. Again, that's like filling up a stadium, almost twice the size as Gillette Stadium every single day. That's what happens. People coming to Turtleboy for their news. And it makes people resentful, doesn't it, folks? It makes people who aren't getting much attention, whose channels are languishing and are losing subs by the day. And, no one's really paying attention to them. They might try to, in order to get attention, kind of take the opposite point of view that I'm taking and present themselves as, the anti-Turtleboy, the anti-award-winning journalist platform. And it's just not working out.
Oh, man, right there. He wanted that to stay so bad. The antis. He wanted it to be the anti-Turtleboys, not the anti-Karen Reed. He wanted it so bad. He tried to get in front of that. He's like, I want this to be anti-Turtleboy. Comes out in May of 2023, talking about that there's this anti. So again, give it up, Turtleboy. Turtleboy started the anti-Karen Reed movement on May 30th, 2023, even though he really wanted to be called anti-Turtleboy. It's right there.
The way that they planned is not working out. So is what it is. But we're not even going to acknowledge that, or
we're not even going to acknowledge that, but we just did.
Watch any of that nonsense, because we're just going to focus on what we do here every day, and that is reporting the news. So let's talk about what happened real quick with McCabe. So I got tipped off by my side
right here. So now we get into, he's going to talk about something that happened with McCabe. Well, what's the date of this? May 30th, 2023. Why is this important? Well, because now we know his sauces, when he's drinking, and his sources. Somebody told him something. Well, who could that be? May 30th. 2023. That's David Yanetti. Come on down, David Yanetti.
What we do here every day, and that is reporting the news. So let's talk about what happened real quick with McCabe. So I got tipped off by my sauces that Jennifer McCabe is down at the courthouse. And are we getting 504 errors again? Are you guys getting 504 errors? Okay. There's definitely some fucking 50. Unbelievable. It's happening again, huh? God damn it. All right. Anyway, hopefully not too bad. But all right. Are you guys getting the yes, I am a cult leader. That's right. Are you guys getting the 504s when you go to the website? Let me try to click on this if it works. My sources down at Stoughton District Courthouse.
Okay, here we go.
Maybe this will work. Well, hopefully it'll fix itself. Anyway, so I find out this afternoon, my sources down at Stoughton District Courthouse tipped me off, and people don't believe me when I say this.
My sources down at Stoughton District Courthouse.
It's like, I know people in every courthouse. There isn't a courthouse in this state where the people in the clerk's office don't read Turtleboy. It's just a fact, folks. It's undeniable. And because I write about a lot of court issues and matters of public concern, and that's right, a lot of shitbags, and who deals with shitbags.
So he wants to tell everybody here, like, hey, my source for this is not David Yanetti, not the lawyers here. My source is that I just talked to everybody in the courthouse. Every courthouse across the, Massachusetts, baby, they're fucking Turtle Rider. They watch my shit. They read it. They are my sources. Well, guess what? That's a fucking lie. His source for this is David Yanetti.
More than the courts. So I get tipped off at Stoughton District Court that Jennifer McCabe is down there. and she's trying to get a harassment prevention order against me. And
I get tipped off that Jennifer McCabe is down there and she's trying to get a prevention harassment order against me. Well, Lana, how do you know it's David Yanetti? Well, because the extractions have come forward and they speak for themselves.
And as we all know, this ain't my first rodeo with an HPO. One day I'll make a list of all the people who got HPOs against me. But I'm undefeated with them. And I love them way more than regular lawsuits, because with regular lawsuits, those.
All right. So he's undefeated with them. Well, that record that's all he cares about. But that record would be not accurate to today. But this is not his first rodeo with them. Well, how's that going to play out in the future when you have opening statements, you have closing arguments, you have evidence, you have prior bad acts, you have just history repeating itself? Why would anybody need to go get these HPOs out against you? Harassment prevention orders
suck. Those are a pain in the ass. Like the Julie Mejia ones, where you have like depositions and filings, and you have to pay for an attorney and the case law. It's expensive. Tony Branch was $15,000. That was the flat fee. The yoga poon lady, that was like way more than that. Like it just goes on and on and on to get these things to go away. But the orders are less worrisome because you can represent yourself on them, and you're not going to go bankrupt if you lose. Not that I'm ever going to lose one of these, but I know the statute like the back of my hand, and the statute is really simple.
So I know the statute like the back of my hand. So that means I know what I can and can't do, right? I know the statute like the back of my hand.
In order to get a harassment prevention order. So first of all, there's two kinds of orders in the state. There are 209As. Now, is it 209A or 209E? The other one's 258A or E. I forget which one. The 209s are for family members, and that's traditionally what most.
Not just family members, but people that you've been in a relationship with.
States have restraining orders.
When he did this in 2023, the Massachusetts had not updated their shit. And so in 2024, they come out with coercive control. And that's going to be a big one for him moving forward. Is he's going to get a shit ton coming down here, and it's because of his coercive control. Watch. But Massachusetts didn't have that yet. Massachusetts did not adopt that part of harassment prevention orders, things of that nature, until September of 2024, right before 2025.
Or your girlfriend or your boyfriend or your ex-husband or whatever. And those are for people who are in domestic situations where abuse happens, and you need an order from the court to tell one person to stay away from the other court because they won't stop coming around. But in Massachusetts, a few years ago, I think it was during the Patrick administration, they added another kind of order for non-family members called a harassment prevention order. And those are basically kind of like the same as restraining orders, except courts are supposed to be less likely to hand them out because a battered woman needs an order against, a crazy ex-husband, right? Like they need something, even though it's just a piece of paper, something on paper to protect them from their violent stalker or whoever, right? But a few years ago, something bad happened between non-family members, and so they created this whole situation. And
which he uses to this day. What do you think he goes and gets on Kate Peter and other people?
I write about a lot of assholes. And yeah, like Fucci, right? That was one of my most recent conquests. I write about a lot of assholes, and often they don't like it. And so they think they're stupid. They're like, me no like this blog. Me go court. Me shut you up. Talk about me no more. You turtle boy. You bad turtle boy. You hurt me feelings. And me get order on you, turtle boy. Turtle fucker. And that's literally the thought process that a lot of these cretins have. I can't even keep track of all. Can you guys name all the people that have tried to get orders on me? I'm like thinking out loud. Remember, a lot of people forget Gaffney got his girlfriend, who I've become friends with over the years. Gaffney got his girlfriend to try to get an order on me. That failed. There have been other instances like, let's see.
You guys, the title of this is 50 Things You Must Ignore to Believe Karen Reed Killed John O'Keefe. We are 13 minutes into this.
Uso tried to get one on me. Ashley St. Angelo's tried a couple times. The Charlotte McFarland one, the DCF moms last year that confronted me outside of court. Remember that? That was a good one. In Worcester, there was, oh man, we could go down the line. Crusty Panties a couple times. She's got a couple of defeats in there. Feel like I missed. Oh, Charlotte McFarland, Big Black Jeffrey, Mike Gianetti, Ryan Waters. Like you go down the line.
Ryan Waters.
Oh, remember Lettuce Wrap? Remember Lettuce Wrap?
Mike Gianetti.
We called it. What the hell was her name? Letitia?
Wait for my Mike Gianetti stuff that's going to start coming out with, everything with Mike Gianetti and Lindsay Gaetani. And those are the people that, oh shit. Those are from Turtleboy's past. That's like the ghosts of Christmas past, present, future, and they just keep them recycling.
We just called her lettuce wrap. Yeah, old lettuce wrap tried to get one on me too. That didn't work out well. I can't even remember all of them. So anyway, they're usually entertaining. Like they're a pain in the ass. They're a day of my life, I guess, that gets taken away from me. But I turn them into content, and so it's not that bad because you can get the audio on any of these. But I'd still rather not do it. It's still.
I turn it into content. Again, guys.
Like they should not be handed out very easily. And I feel like without evidence, the courts really shouldn't just grant hearings because that's a burden. That's like, you know, I understand the judge is being paid to be there that day, but I'm not. You're going to compensate me for my time? The lawyers are getting paid to be there. I'm not getting paid to be there. So, you know, everyone in the room is getting paid except for me. I'm having money taken out of my pocket by being there. So
then you it's really not content that you can make money off of, right? Because it doesn't wash out.
How this works, when somebody goes in front of a judge, you have to have 3 or more documented instances of unwanted contact or harassment designed to put the plaintiff in fear, and that did in fact cause fear, like legitimate fear.
And that has since been amended.
So for instance, when I the Brett one that I didn't get, right? I shouldn't have done that. I mean, I look back on that, I was just fucking, like, it was, he said,
I was just fucking around.
A lot of crazy shit, like, let's be honest, but you know, like the truth of the matter was I wasn't in fear of him. Like
so I just went and lied. Like this guy.
He's got no car. At the end of the day, he's got no fucking car. Was he gonna take a skateboard down here, kick my ass? He's all talk. We found that out. The judge correctly ruled, in my opinion, that Brett is all talk and he's not actually about that life. And like some of the messages I had sent showed that, like, I'm not afraid of this motherfucker. Like I think I said I could kick his ass. And so that proved it. Like, you know, you can't be in fear if you've ever said that you could beat someone up, even though I could. So with so they have to prove those things, right? And how it works is you go in and you write an affidavit, and you immediately get to see a judge within a couple minutes. They bring them out there and you make your case. You tell them what happened, right? And the other party is not there for that. It's an ex parte hearing, meaning only one party is involved. And you get to make your case about why you have 3 or more instances of unwanted contact. The judge will make sure, like, what are the 3 instances? That's what a judge is supposed to do. But as we've seen, that isn't always what happens. The judge has 3 options. Number 1 is you can grant a 2-party, you can give a temporary order in place and set up a 2-party hearing for within 10 business days. The downfall of that for the defendant is that your rights are limited for the next 10 days. Like, for instance, when Krusty Panties got one on me for her 16-year-old daughter recently, right? Everyone knows that was bullshit. But you go back and you listen to the audio of when she applied for the order. What did she do? She cried. She said that, oh my God, he's going to come to my house and kidnap my out-of-control brat, my runaway kid who tells people that their 7-year-olds are going to suck dick for crack. Oh my God, my poor 16-year-old runaway truant daughter. And just cried about it. And the judge actually asked her in Attleboro Court, does he have mental health issues? And she's like, oh yeah. It's like, talk about leading questions. So I'm not there to defend myself. And Mike Gianetti, I mean, that's the most ridiculous one. A literal crackhead went in front of a judge and what did she say? Went in front of a judge and said nothing in like broken crackhead English, showed up late, made no sense at all. And that the Asian judge there just granted a temporary order against me based on nothing. Like, it was nothing. And that's a big deal. It should be considered a big deal because even though it's temporary, for those 10 days or however long between your 2-party hearing to decide whether or not it's extended for another year, your rights are limited. Even if it's a small amount, any infringement on your civil liberties is an infringement on your freedom. Like, you're having something stolen from you. That should be a big deal. Like, what freedoms are taken away? Well, I can't contact whoever I want. I have a right to contact whoever I want. It's a free country. I can talk to whoever I want to talk to. They don't want to talk to me, they don't have to, but I can try. You know, if I see them in public, I ask them a question. I'm not threatening you. It also limits your movement, where you can go if they're within 100 feet of you. It's like, I'm at a restaurant, they come in, I got to leave. Like, what the hell? Like, I couldn't go to Applebee's in North Attleboro for 2 weeks there. Not that I wanted to. I didn't even know that person worked there. But what if I was in the area and I was hungry? I can't go to fucking Applebee's. So it limits your freedoms. So that's the first option.
Go cry baby.
And that's happened with Gianetti. It's happened with Krusty Panties. It happened with Jinduso. It happened with Ashley San Angelo, all these liars. And then I beat them at the 2-party hearing. Option 2 is what they did with Charlotte McFarland. It's what they did with Gaffney's girlfriend. It's what they did with Big Black Jeffrey, Tony Branch, and Mike Fucci too. Mike Fucci had this happen too. They go, and the Worcester DCF moms too. They go in front of a judge and they write their affidavit, and the judge looks it over and is like, okay, well, I'm not going to put an ex parte in order. We're going to set this up for a 2-party hearing in 10 days and come back then. And with me, I don't even think, like, I didn't even get a temporary order with Zach Martin, and he was on tape calling 911 at 1:30 in the morning saying that I was threatening to kill myself and got me swatted over it. Like, that didn't even get a temporary order. But I think that's really what judges should do is, if there's any question here, if it looks like you should not hand out you should never do the ex parte ones, in my opinion, because you haven't heard from the other party. You don't even know the real story. How can you limit someone's freedoms without hearing from them first? Like there should be some sort of punishment if option. Denied and not doing a 2-party hearing. And that's what you should do for the frivolous ones, the really frivolous, the things you're saying. Why should you get a hearing? Why should somebody else have to take a day off from work to go and play your stupid games in court about those ones? Why? Because you're not there and you don't get any paperwork. And this probably happens all the time. I got tipped off a couple years ago. Some crazy Peter eater, I think her name was Clancy Cole, some old lady. She went down to Quincy District Courthouse and get an order. Is that, and you don't know what this stuff is.
So here it is, prevention order against Turtleboy in Stoughton District Court. He blogs about it. He blogs about the fact that, hey, something that he's not supposed to know about, something that David Yanetti provided him with the information. His source is David Yanetti. And so he writes this blog. And it's come out, and David Yanetti is the source.
And it's just sad that that's all they have. I mean, I was saying this the other day, that I could be on Joe Rogan and make millions of dollars, and the people that are saying these things about me, oh, he's going nowhere, blah blah blah, they would say the same fucking thing. Like I could be Tucker Carlson, I could be like one of the most successful individuals, I could be Dave Portnoy, and these people, it wouldn't matter to them. They would still stick to the script that, oh, he's not even doing well. Like, I mean, look what we've done this year, guys. I'm on freaking Tim Pool to begin the year. They flew me out there on their dime. Just put me up at a hotel. Go on Timcast, do that. Breaking these huge stories, getting record amount of page views. Might be on freaking Dateline by the end of the year, for crying out loud. And
wait, where did this conversation even just come from? Like, again, I thought we were going to get into this prevention order. Well, no, we have to talk about me some more, because I need to tell you guys that fucking A, man. Like, what? He must read chat the entire time. I don't do that. I am. It's because it's just like, where did this even come from? Fuck, I'm going to be on Dateline at the end of the year. What? Dateline? Who gives a fuck?
And all these people are just like, he
hates MSM. Fuck Dateline.
Oh, nowhere. I mean, it's like, what are you going to say to a retailer? He's doing coke. What do you say to that? What, am I going to sue you for defaming me? Like, nobody cares what you say. Nobody's listening to you. No one's taking you seriously. So I say, let them say whatever the fuck they want. And it's just like, just mock them. You know, on my Clarence page, I'm just going to block you, because if you're not going to use your real name, then see you later.
If you're not going to use your real name, then see ya. Look at this fucking idiot. If you're not going to use your real name, then see you later. I'm going to just block you on my Clarence page. Well, he had real people reaching out to him. Like the Alberts wanted to say, like, hey, what are you going to write about something? Like, maybe you want to talk to us first? Don't you want to talk to a source? Nah, fuck it. So that means you're really not writing anything. Cheers. So then what are you doing? What are you doing? You're not writing. You're not covering stories. You are pushing a narrative.
But, you know, on here, it's like, who gives a shit? As long as they're not like spamming it, who gives a fuck, you know? And that dump truck pregnancy show was extremely entertaining. Oh yeah, sure was. I didn't watch it. So I guess I made a crack about the other day about dump truck, our old friend dump truck, being on Ratchet. Or what are we saying? That being pregnant. I guess they, here's how stupid they are. This is what they do in their free time. They apparently fed false information to dump truck's neighbor, whose name is Robin. And Robin contacts me about it, and it's like, she's pregnant and she doesn't know who the father is, and sends me screenshots of it. And apparently they know this woman's gonna feed me shit, so they intentionally fed her false shit. She's not actually pregnant, thank God. Thank God. And I got sent it, and I'm like, if you play the audio, I'm like, I don't know if this is really true, but that would be fucking hilarious. That would be so funny if Irish Demon came all the way over here from Dublin to knock up dump truck. I would laugh so hard if that happened. It would be instant comedy. Oh boy. And I think we spent all of about 90 seconds making jokes about it, and then we moved on with the actual content of the show. Well, they apparently did a spin-off show, an hour-long spin-off show about my two-minute riff there. So that's how you know that you're setting the table here, that you're setting the table for relevance, is that you take 90 seconds of audio and someone else gets an entire show off of that. And it's like, good job. Good. You really accomplished a lot there. Oh, and that email, remember I read that email the other night about, I said I got an anonymous email right before the show, or a couple hours before the show, about someone claiming to be friends with Colin Albert, who claimed that he sold drugs or something, and it was like out of the pizza shop. And so I'm like, I read it out loud in the show, and I'm like, I was skeptical about the pizza shop aspect of it. I'm like, this can't be true, but it could be true. It sounds believable. I could totally picture Colin Albert selling fucking pot or whatever, you know? Like, of course. Wouldn't surprise me. Would anybody be surprised if Colin Albert was selling pills or some shit? No. So you get an email like that, and I read it out loud to you guys, and I made it very clear. I'm not reporting this. This is just an anonymous email I'm getting. Check this out. And I read it out loud. Never said it was true. And apparently that was like a big deal for them because the emailer was actually Krusty Panties. This is how empty her life is. Like nobody's watching her channel. She's got no subs.
Oh my God, we're 27 minutes into this. And what the fuck is he talking about? Oh, apparently that was Krusty Panties that sent me that. You know what I mean? So you don't want to make a big disclaimer that, hey, that's not true. Somebody had sent me that to see if I would vet it, and I didn't. And I just come out and say it. I didn't even write the emailer back, and it just was going with my narrative. So I wanted to tell you guys about it.
No views compared to us, obviously.
I thought he wasn't going to bring up, you guys, I'm not kidding. He started the anti-Karen Reed movement. I never even fucking realized this. So I was like doing my research and I'm like, holy shit, he started the anti-Karen Reed movement. He's the one that started this. The antis, saying that anybody was anti-Karen. He did that. He tried to have it be anti-Turtleboy. Anti-Karen. We are 30 minutes into this fucking bullshit right here that's being, peddled in front of all of these people. And he's still talking about himself in Krusty Panties. That nobody knows, like, what the fuck are you talking about? That's why if you're like watching this and you just were trying to follow the Karen Reed case, you're not following the Karen Reed case. You're following the life of Turtleboy's drama. That's what and he's like, yeah, it's the Turtleboy show. Exactly. The Turtleboy show. And I will fucking talk about your story, right? Not the case, not do an investigative piece.
And sees what we're doing over here, sees our growth, and is just like, I need attention. I need to latch on to something. So I'm going to talk about the Karen Reed story.
No, actually, she wanted to prove a point that you don't vet shit.
And I'm going to talk about, and I'm just going to fuck with him. I'm just going to send him emails with false information to see if he runs with it, see if he reports it. And I never did because I don't know.
Never did. Dude, is this dude delusional? He just came out and said that he fucking told you guys the goddamn email. He read the email. And
emails with false information to see if he runs with it, see if he reports it. And I never did because I don't know if you're familiar with this. My reporting is the blog, TP Daily News. If I don't publish it on tpdailynews.com, then I'm not reporting it. The things.
Wait, what? Oh my God. If he doesn't blog about it, he's not reporting it. Excuse me?
I riff about on here, blog, TP Daily News. If I don't publish it on tpdailynews.com, then I'm not reporting it. The things I riff about on here and I read random emails and tell you that this is an email I got, that's not actually reporting. That's just me reading an email I got. So if that's where, if your life is so empty that that's how you get your entertainment, that you're like, oh, you think about me that much that you're like, he's so relevant that I'm going to send him an email to see if he'll report it. As opposed to like, if you didn't give a shit about me, if I was a nobody, the best way.
No, actually, they're outing you. But this is his spin. This is his spin. This person just literally did it with one email on the drop. Boom. Done. Like, look at this guy. Send him whatever. He doesn't vet shit. He didn't even respond to the person that provided the email. Okay. Whether it's fake or not. Just fucking was like, yeah, I'm going with this. But here, people were trying to reach out about the whole Higgins shit. People are actually trying to reach out that were actually witnesses, the names. Nope. I'm not talking to them. I'm just going to call them up on the phone and, humiliate them and degrade them. Because that's what you do.
To prove I'm a nobody is to just not talk about me and just not recognize my existence.
And here we are 30 minutes in and he's trying to tell you how you should behave and what you should do. And we don't even know anything about the Karen Reed case. Like, what has happened today? Nothing. 30 minutes in of this diabolical fucking, and he titles it Irrelevant Trolls. That's this block here. It's titled Irrelevant Trolls. This block is titled Harassment Prevention Orders. And then we finally get to this part, which will be Jen McCabe tries to get a HPO out of me. He literally has a block that's titled Irrelevant Trolls.
It's like pro tip to all the people out there. If you're talking about me and you're going out of your way to send me fake stories to see if I report them, you're inadvertently admitting that I matter. Did I set the tone? Oh, so Krusty Panties, you got just Google the name.
Is Krusty Panties Kate sorry new to Turtleboy, says Jennifer Williams. Here he goes.
Kate Peter on TV Daily News, and all sorts of shit will come. And that's how relevant you are, Krusty Panties. Is, you know, the thousands of new viewers and listeners, none of them know who the fuck you are.
This is great.
Nobody knows who you are. And she used to work for me. It's a long story. She used to work for me. I caught her stealing money, called her out on it, and she kind of used my platform to build up her own little brand within the brand, and had plotted the whole time to just go and start her own channel. It's called, I think it's called Masshole Troll Mafia now, I believe it's called.
Oh, there you go. Like, I'm sorry. This is hilarious.
And it's literally just a bunch of incels, the definition of incels, like fucking weirdos and paid bots that she uses to obsess over First Amendment auditors. They're these people that like follow around police or something and harass them. And she makes fun of them. And I found out that she had 4 children. She abused and neglected all of them, lost the youngest 2 to the state, and the older 2 were in and out of foster homes her whole life. So I wrote about it. I wrote a series of blogs about her, exposing who she is, her devious tactics, etc. And she has been obsessed with me, obsessed for 3 years. Like, got a hold of some intimate pictures of me, began sharing them everywhere because apparently whatever, has contacted so many members of my family, has tried to get orders on me multiple times, filed a false copyright complaint with YouTube, including a forged federal complaint in order to get a video taken down off of my YouTube channel. I mean, I don't even know where to begin, but I was in court with her like 2 months ago, whooping her ass again. You know, but okay, as long as you know about the nudes. Okay, that's the important part there. Everybody knows about the nudes. Okay. All right. So anyway, so that's that in a nutshell. Anyway, back to this. So Jennifer McCabe, by going down there today,
cheers,
and doing this,
fuck yeah, man,
you're immediately going to get noticed because everyone is talking.
So David Yanetti is like, here, the person that somebody is a witness in our case, who's basically letting the fucking courts know that she feels that she's being harassed. Okay. Hey, guess what? Jennifer McCabe would be able to get the HPO now because when she did this in 2023, the rules changed, the law changed. So if Jennifer, all these people would be able to get, they would be successfully getting an HPO. But I think they already basically got one once they got the once he got fucking, you know, thrown in the slammer. So David Yannetti's not going to scratch his head and say, man, we have witnesses in our case that are going to the courts. Like, what the fuck? Like, this isn't good. Nope, we're going to let Turtleboy know about it so that he can continue to threaten and harass them.
Talking about the story. Like, you're famous, Jen McCabe. I've made you famous. 2 months ago, you were just a name in some court filings written by Alan Jackson, and they were trying to get the attention of the media, and they just weren't getting it. And then I wrote about it, and next thing you know, boom, you're a household name in Massachusetts. Everyone knows who you are. You're the woman who Googled how long to die in cold while they were preparing to put the unconscious body of John O'Keefe out in the cold. You wanted to know how long it would take for him to expire so that his death could be blamed on Karen Reed. You set the whole thing up. You are a cop killer, miss. Like, let's call it a buck. You're a cop killer. And I confronted this cop killer outside of court the other day, and she didn't like it. And again, here's what happened. Who did this? Gets old. Hey. Jen, why did you Google how long to die in cold at 2:27 in the morning, Jen? Any comment on that? Any comment on that? Thank you, sir. I see you guys wearing Justice for JJ shirts. How can you wear those buttons when you covered up his murder? Any comment on that? She looks scared. Does she look scared?
Mr.
McCabe? He looks angry, and she looks confident, right? At least that is how she wants to make it appear. I can see right through people like this. That's not confidence. That's somebody that's trying to portray confidence. Somebody who's shitting their pants.
Right here, Cosgrove, coming right off the rib. Jennifer McCabe. He knows that she is shitting her pants. She's just shitting herself.
Somebody who's extremely uncomfortable. Dude, you went and got the bailiff on me, motherfucker, in court. You went and cried to the bailiff that I was taking pictures. Oh, he's taking pictures. Oh, no. So what? You know, you're in a public setting. There's media everywhere. Welcome. I'm media. I'll take your picture if I want to take a picture. So anyway, I'm outside, and I see her there, and I start confronting her like this. And this has never happened to her before. And I said this the other night. It's kind of crazy that I'm the only one who did this. Like, this is a woman who we're all here in court. Why were we in court that day? To see if we can get the cell phone for Brian Albert, and have a 2-party hearing in which she would be the star witness.
Confronting ADA Adam Lally and Jennifer McCabe at the Karen Reed. It stops there with the R.
She's the star witness in a murder trial for the state, the Commonwealth. And, you know, where is the media to question her? Like she had some, we've recently found out in the last 2 months that, oh boy, she might have actually been, not only is she not the good guy here, she's apparently the villain and was involved in the death of John O'Keefe. And
what? You guys, he fucking peddled this shit that the fucking feds are over here saying that Jen McCabe, yeah, fuck yeah. Dude, this is crazy. This is crazy. Now when you actually know the timeline of events on how this all fucking happened and how it was leaked to him about all this the federal grand jury, and that's what he used to like go after these people. Dude, he's fucking toast. The biggest sacredest thing that our criminal justice system has, as far as like I'm just using the word secrecy just to be, sealed, is, grand juries. This man has lost his fucking mind.
Nobody's asking her about this. Like, that's wild. Everybody wanted to talk to Karen Reed on the way out, and I get that because she's the actual defendant. But
because she's the actual defendant, like Jennifer McCabe should be the actual defendant, he's saying.
No offense to Karen Reed, she's kind of old news.
Dude, you don't realize until you go back and watch this, but this motherfucker has been so jealous of Karen Reed since the onset of this. I'm going to make myself the star of the show because he literally was jealous and has always been of Karen Reed because he wanted to be Karen Reed. I mean, it's there. No offense, Karen Reed, but like, you're old news.
She's the actual defendant. But no offense to Karen Reed, she's kind of old news. Like, you got to talk to this woman here. This is the one you want to talk to. You got a couple words out of Karen Reed later on, and that's what made the headlines. But I'm the only one that wants to talk to this woman. Like, that's crazy, man. That's crazy. So again, this is what happens if you haven't seen it. Play it all. Any comment? How can you show your face in court?
Right there, you see a fucking guy with a fucking. Look at this right here. He's so.
I'm the only one that wants to talk to this woman. Like, that's
I'm the only one that
crazy,
wants to talk to this woman. What's right there? Do you see that camera? What's that camera showing? A guy with a fucking microphone. Is that Turtleboy's hand? No, it sure ain't. I mean, this man is delusional. The lies that he literally just spewed while like looking at this video. I'm the only one there. Dude, whose camera is that? I mean, whose microphone is that? That's not Turtleboy's.
How can you show your face in court? Aren't you embarrassed?
Look it.
You're ashamed? What are you hiding? What did you do? Why did you delete all those phone calls, Ms. McCabe? Why did you delete all those phone calls? Why did you delete your Google search, Ms. McCabe? Mr. McCabe, I believe you said that you saw Karen Reed drive south on Fairview Road. Oh, excuse me, sir. Nice to see you guys got dressed up for court, though. Looking sharp. So, I believe you guys both said that you saw Karen Reed drive south. Is that correct? South? So then how could she do a 3-point turn then if she was traveling south on that road? Any comment on that? No? Make sense to you? Why were you up? You guys get the point. A bunch of cop killers there, and I call them that. That's what we should all call them in court. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to pimp out the Griffcast, the Turtle Chat. If you guys like the content and want to support what we do here, you can't donate via Super Chat because we had the wrong opinions about the president's vaccine mandate a few months ago. Chat, it's called Turtle. You get to write a message with it. I will get an email notification and this whole thing, question and things. But I got to be honest with you. I'm disappointed, man. I was really looking forward to this shit. And by the way, this is why the two-party hearings can be dangerous. The whole temporary order thing, if they're granted, because this happens. This is what Krusty Panties did.
What?
She posted.
But what the fuck is he talking about now? We're just talking about Jennifer McCabe, and now here we are, 37:29 mark, talking about Krusty Panties again. You guys, he's obsessed. It's not the other way around. This is crazy. That's a local news reporter. Exactly, Sarah. There you go. The local news reporter, isn't it? Look at this. Wait, what?
Goes on our page and writes, Kate, I know this is while a temporary order is in place. I know you're watching right now. You fucked with my business, my livelihood, and family, you vile cunt. This is a promise. I'll ruin your entire life, and I won't stop until everything you love is burned to the ground. You'll suffer more than you have ever suffered before. You poke the turtle. Good luck, bitch. And I found out that she was the one that did this because check this. Like, if you check this video out, I log into the account and I see that she has.
What is he talking about? This is, you guys
used one of her alt accounts to log in and write that. And so that's why you got to be careful with these. I don't need Jen McCabe getting some order on me. that could prevent me from reporting. I got trips to Canton planned in my near future, and I don't want I need to speak to her. We have lots to talk about, and she knows that she goes out in public a lot. She goes to lacrosse games. She's walking around town like nothing is she's not a murder suspect, and is just
she's walking around town like she's not a murder suspect, dude. Rambling, just fucking rambling. Absolutely, this is absolutely ridiculous. He is gonna get fucking literally. If I can do an opening statement, and I'm no lawyer, okay, and I'm working on one over here. Maybe I'll even share a little here, but you guys, he's fucking toast. He's an absolute fucking stupid fuck. But I never realized that he made the entire reporting of Karen Read's case all about him. All about him.
Kind of carrying herself as that because Kevin Reddington is advising her to do that because that's what innocent people do. They don't act guilty, right? They just live their lives like normal because that's what you do when you're innocent, right? But it's all.
Hasn't he been living his life like he's out here buying houses, right? You know?
All fake with her. It's all a facade. It's none of this is real.
Out of all of these people, the only person to catch fucking charges has been Turtleboy. And he's caught so many of them. So many of them.
She's not actually confident. And her going down to the courthouse today was a perfect example of that. It was a sign of weakness. It was a huge mistake on her part. Huge mistake, girl.
He's telling Jennifer McCabe that it was a huge mistake on her part that she went to seek out a harassment prevention order. It was a huge mistake on your part. Just right before he's telling her that we still have tons of times that we have to, get together. Okay. And talk. I have to come to Canton. I have things I have to do there. And she can't be getting these, Jen McCabe can't be getting these HPOs out of me. Okay. And then he's over here talking about, hey, we got to put out here that we're not this Turtleboy account, whatever the fuck is going on.
It was such a mistake that, wait, what does it say? Looks like Carl Dugall was running his mouth about Karen Read being the woman to do John dirty. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, check that out. On Carl Dugall's page, another Boston cop calls him out and is like, they did John dirty. Check it out. It's wild.
Oh my God. 40 minutes in and we have nothing. We've seen a 7-second clip of him lying about the fact that there was nobody else that was asking Jennifer McCabe any questions. That's what we've gotten so far. 7 seconds of his bullshit.
Other Boston cop calls him out. And that's how 95% of Boston cops think about this, because Boston cops know that Brian Albert's a piece of shit. He is not well liked in the Boston Police Department. He is known to be dirty. And he assaulted a guy by the name of Eddie Hernandez at a Christmas function a couple years back. Christmas function. He's beating up other cops. The dude is a piece of shit, and he thinks that he's king dick around the Boston Police Department. And he's certainly not above putting his hands on John O'Keefe. Let's put it that way. But her going down there was a real sign of weakness, because it's an admittance that I'm getting to you, and you don't want to do that, John. That was a big mistake. There was still some doubt in my mind. I'm like, maybe she just is that cocky. Maybe she's just going to keep living her life. Some people do that, and they just don't give a fuck. But you're not that guy. You were presenting yourself as that guy, but clearly you're not that guy, because you went down to the courthouse and you told the judge today that you were scared of me.
Because David Yanetti told him this. So now we play the whole tape, and now to see that the source of this is Karen Read's attorney, you think this looks good? It looks so bad. And if you don't think that Cosgrove can use this, you're fucking wrong. Because at the time, right, we don't know who his source is. Well, now we fucking know, and Cosgrove knows. And he has the proof to show that the source is Karen Read's attorney. That's not saying that it's conspiracy at all. What I'm just saying, why are you doing it? Comes back to intent, right? It comes back to not only just intent, but it's just the simple fact of that you are recklessly in pursuit and disregarding the facts.
And that was a lie. We all know it's a lie because I've never threatened you. The only thing I'm threatening is your freedom. And believe
I'm not threatening you. We know it's a lie. You're not scared of me. He just said 15 minutes ago she's shitting her pants. When he put that camera in her face, that was before she went down to the courthouse. And he's over here saying that she was shitting herself. And now he's over here saying, we know that you weren't afraid. What the You guys, he is delusional. He is the biggest hypocrite, and he just doesn't even know what he's saying when he's saying stuff.
I will be there when you go to jail. I'll be there when you're charged. I'll be there all of your court dates. You're my white Monica Cannon Grant. That's what you are. And
Oh my
we're going
God.
to have some fun. Trust me. This isn't going to end the way you thought it was going to end. And you're going to remember this face while you sit in prison and while you're crying as you're hauled away in front of your 4 daughters and their mommy has to go to prison. I'll be there. Just know that, Jennifer. And I'll be smiling. Maybe the judge will stagger the sentences with you and Matt. Maybe you'll get lucky. Then that one of you can be around your kids for a little bit, and then you do the old switcheroo. Maybe you'll get lucky there.
Staggering. There's something. He's over here talking about kids and them losing parents. He's over here. All he wants to do is talk about how could you ever talk about me going to prison, and or no, he doesn't say prison, he says jail, and talk about you want my kids not to be around their father. But are you kidding me? He started this train in May, if not earlier, April of 2023, that I'm going to be there when y'all go to prison. Dude, the only person that I see going to prison in these comments, these clips are going to be played. And if you don't think that this is witness intimidation, you're wrong. Because it meets the statute. He's a moron. He's an absolute moron.
Cocky. Maybe she's just going to keep living her life. Some people do that. And they just don't give a fuck. But you're not that guy. You were presenting yourself as that guy. But clearly you're not that guy. Because you went down to the courthouse and you told the judge today that you were scared of me. And that was a lie. And we all know it's a lie because I've never threatened you. The only thing I'm threatening is your freedom. And believe me, I will be there when you go to jail. I'll be there when you're charged. I'll be there all of your court dates. You're my white Monica Cannon Grant. That's what you are.
Oh.
And we're going to have some fun. Trust me. This isn't going to end the way you thought it was going to end. And you're going to remember this face while you sit in prison and while you're crying as you're hauled away in front of your 4 daughters and their mommy has to go to prison. I'll be there. Just know that, Jennifer. And I'll be smiling. Maybe the judge will stagger the sentences with you and Matt. Maybe you'll get lucky. And that one of you can be around your kids for a little bit, and then you do the old switcheroo. Maybe you'll get lucky there. But if somebody has the Carl screenshots of those, send them to me. I don't have time to dig them up right now. But it was like El Chico, the guy I went by. But feel free to send those at weakness like that, because now I'm just gonna regardless. That was a big mistake on her part to go down to the courthouse and admit weakness like that, because now I'm just gonna now I know it's getting to you.
Oh shit! Right there. Fucking 20 coming right here, because the statute says, oh shit, dude. Now look at this. Now I know it's getting to you.
Mistake on her part to go down to the courthouse and
he's admitting that it bothers Jennifer McCabe and she's suffering emotionally, and he fucking knows it, and he's out here admitting it. And this is the part of my let's see here. Let's see where I put stuff here. I think it's over there. Dude, he is absolutely fucking dumb as fuck. His lawyers are just taking it all from him. Right here. Turn it up.
Weakness like that, because now I'm just gonna now I know it's getting to you. Never let me know that it's getting to you. Big mistake. However, what was even a bigger mistake, and you're so lucky about this one.
Do you understand that's intimidating? What's a bigger mistake? That's like it's like a or else statement. Okay. Or else. When somebody is made to feel like if I don't do something or else, that's all these people have to say. It was an or these are all or else statements. If I don't do certain things, there's an or else coming. Okay. Do this or else. And you don't have, it's not make believe, because it's the truth. You want to know why it's the truth? Because he says it this way. Listen up.
Now I know it's getting to you. Never let me know that it's getting to you. Big mistake. However, what was even a bigger mistake, and you're so lucky about this one, Jen, was the fact that you went at all. Because if you had been giving a 2-party hearing, when I first found out about this, you could ask anybody. When I first found out that you were down at Stoughton District Court,
you can ask anybody. Call him to the stand. Ask him about it. Call David Yanetti to the stand. David Yanetti's a fucking witness. I bet you he won't be pleading the 5th. There is absolutely no privilege between him and David Yanetti. David Yanetti's a witness.
What? I was in the car. Not about this. You could ask anybody. When I first found out that you were down at Stoughton District Court, I was in the car. Okay. I had a seatbelt on. And my seatbelt almost split in half because of the ginormous extra emoji that was just exploding from my loins at the thought of getting you in a courtroom. It was just like the thought of that. Just, oh my God, that's an award-winning journalist's wet dream right there. To have you in a courtroom captive. I don't know if you're familiar.
He just sexualized it. He just sexualized it. Then Lana does her research and does it well. I do. I take a lot of time. This is insane. This is insane. That when David Yanetti would have watched this video, which I know that he did, and realized, holy shit, this is what he did with the fucking information I gave him. He should have never given him another piece of information ever again. Okay, this man's dangerous, right? If you don't think that he's dangerous, okay, well, let's start giving him information about you and your family. Okay. Especially if he's going to be making money off of it, then he keeps going and going and going, right? Let's see how it feels to you. Let's see how you appreciate it. You understand that this was in a Boston police officer's murder case. This is what took place.
With this process, but I get to cross-examine you. And if you think my cross-examination skills are bad, I urge you to go and listen to the Leah Genduso cross-examination. That, like, what I got her to admit on the stand. She lost her fiance over that. He walked out of the court in disgust. I ruined her life again in court.
I ruined her life again. He admits to ruining people's lives. Okay. And he ruins them not because they ruin like their lives themselves and he just shows how they ruin their lives. No, he inserts himself to and does unethical after unethical stunt. Borderline illegal shit. Okay. And
I'll ruin, like, it's like I would.
And I'll ruin what?
Have a field day with you. Like again in court. And I'll ruin, like, it's like I would.
And then he stopped. I'll ruin your life, Jen. Listen, you have the right to think if you think that Karen Reed was set up, right? Karen was framed and these people killed John. Okay. But this motherfucker has no right based on our fucking laws to do what the fuck he's doing. He's breaking them. You have the right to live peacefully as a witness for the state or the Commonwealth in whatever state or Commonwealth you are residing in, and you are a fucking witness. That is your civic duty that you're going to come forward and be a witness in a murder trial. It is 2026. The days of the way that people are threatened and harassed have completely changed. You know, bullying just used to happen on the playground at school, and your kid only had to worry about being bullied maybe, 4 to 8 hours a day. Now your kid can get bullied literally round the motherfucking clock. And so can you. You can be harassed. All the things. Annoyed, financially ruined, economically harmed, mentally harmed. And these are all of the things that you would be hitting and saying if you're Cosgrove in your opening. This is not a whodunit case. This is a he's done everything and recorded it case. And now all I need you guys to do as the jury is uphold the Massachusetts laws. These are the laws. If you guys can't uphold the laws, then we're not going to have witnesses in murder cases.
Have a field day with you. Like I had an attorney for the one with the 16-year-old brat, and she destroyed, Kathleen Fay just destroyed that girl's spirit. She'll never do that again. And the thing about her, Jen McCabe, was, I'm like, do you understand that I get to cross-examine you? And Alan Jackson would probably be, without me even saying anything, on the next flight to Boston to be in that courtroom. You understand that, right? Like it would be.
See how he uses people's names? And now here at the time, we're all thinking that he doesn't talk to any of the people. He does not. They came out and said, we don't talk to Turtleboy. And Turtleboy said that I don't talk to them. Okay. And now the bag and the cat is out. There's the bag. The cat jumped out. We know that they were all talking. And like I said, Karen Reed gets so many passes for me. It's not even going to be funny, because if you were framed or set up, there's a cover up for murder. I mean, come on, you're going to do anything and everything you can to save your fucking life. Let's be real. All right. That's a human instinct. But this motherfucker, this motherfucker did everything for himself and for money.
Impossible for her not to incriminate herself. I would ask all about the Google search. That's like the first thing I'd ask about.
What is that? Wait, he thinks that he's going to be able to ask these irrelevant questions in an HPO hearing. I'm going to just ask about the Google search. Objection, Your Honor. Relevancy? How is that relevant? It's not. It's not relevant. And it would be sustained. But this dude talking about how he would ever ask these type of questions, he's out of his fucking mind.
And you would not be able to walk away. You would have to answer. You would have to incriminate. What, are you going to plead the fifth?
Yeah, just like you did. You're going to plead the fifth? This is an HPO. This is about your behavior. She would be testifying to what your behavior, what you've done. And guess what? The only reason that she couldn't get it back then is because the statute was different. Now, if she, like I said, if this would have happened and this case would have been a little pushed back and the new laws were in place and the statutes were different, in September of 2024, that changed. Coercive control, this motherfucker, everybody would have an HPO out on him that if they wanted to, that could be saying with the whole coercive control, especially anybody that's ever been in a relationship with this man. In fact, maybe I just get so bored over here that I'll just write it up if I was Meredith. Here, Meredith, here you go.
Oh, Lordy. You didn't think about that, did you? That's why Kevin Reddington wouldn't even go down there with her. I don't even know who the attorney was. So it's an open public court. So I have filed with FDR to get the hearing, to get the audio. And when
you can't get that. He's absolutely off his rocker.
Get it? I'll have it. I can't wait to.
Did you play it? Did he ever play that for anybody?
This woman says, to have her begging a judge for an order of protection and then to have it denied. Woo! You just gave me so much content. I know. I'm super disappointed too, Jen. I'm super disappointed. This is the first time a judge issued a ruling in my favor that I'm just like, oh man, I wish that went badly. I wish that went the other way, but it didn't. And here we are.
I wish that went bad. I wish it would have went the other way. This dude's insane. Okay.
And yeah. Okay. So we'll see what happens with that. And Jen, now I know that this is getting to you, and game on.
He thinks this is a game. Do you understand? He thinks this is a game, and he's admitting that I know this is getting to you. I know this is getting to you. That's what the statute is. That's the statute. He's fucked. You know how Alan Jackson kept saying it? She's fucked. Pin it on the girl. This is cut and dry. She's fucked. He's fucked. It's cut and dry.
Got a cash.
Fact here. Hold on one second. I was having some sushi and I was having some sake, and this is what I came up with. If Costco just wanted to put like this little twist in his opening. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, on January 29th at 6 a.m. in 2022, Boston police officer John O'Keefe was found unresponsive on the lawn at 34 Fairview Road in Canton, Massachusetts. Mr. O'Keefe would be pronounced dead at the hospital within hours. Within 72 hours, Mr. John O'Keefe's then girlfriend, Karen Reed, was arrested for vehicular manslaughter. And then in June of 2022, Miss Reed was rearrested and charged with secondary murder. In 2022, the Norfolk County had indicted Miss Reed by way of grand jury. And civilian witnesses did testify. Also, the Massachusetts State Police interviewed 20 plus civilian witnesses over the course of the Massachusetts State Police investigation into Mr. O'Keefe's suspicious and unattended death. On the night before Mr. O'Keefe was found on the lawn at 34 Fairview, Mr. O'Keefe had been in the company of friends at the Waterfall Bar and Miss Reed. At the conclusion of that evening at the Waterfall Bar, Mr. O'Keefe and Miss Reed were invited to 34 Fairview for an after party. Mr. O'Keefe and Miss Reed were invited by Jennifer McCabe. Jennifer McCabe was friends with Mr. O'Keefe and Miss Reed. 34 Fairview was Jennifer McCabe's sister's home and her brother-in-law's home, Brian and Nicole Albert. Brian Albert was a fellow Boston police officer with John. Another party goer at the Waterfall, Brian Higgins, joined back at 34 Fairview, as well as Jennifer McCabe's husband, Matthew McCabe. Already at 34 Fairview, where Brian and Nicole's son, Brian Albert Jr., and some of his friends, Juliana Nagel and Sarah Levinson. Brian Albert's brother and sister-in-law, Chris and Julie Albert, they attended the Waterfall Bar that evening, but opted not to join 34 Fairview. Lastly, Caitlin Albert, Brian and Nicole's daughter, was also present at the Waterfall Bar that evening, and she drove home with her parents at 34 Fairview to hang out with her brother, Brian Albert Jr., for the closing hours of his birthday celebration, before being picked up by then fiance, now husband, Tristan Morris, at around 1:45 or 2 a.m. Jennifer McCabe was expecting to see John O'Keefe and Karen Reed. There were phone calls, possibly some text exchanges, but in the end, John O'Keefe and Karen Reed never came to the house party. After a year into Miss Reed's arrest for the murder of John O'Keefe, and while Miss Reed was awaiting her criminal trial, a blogger and vlogger, Aidan Carney, defendant, also known as Turtleboy, began writing and publishing blogs and vlogs on the murder of John O'Keefe. April 18th, 2023, again, a good over a year after Miss Reed was arrested. This blogging by the defendant began immediately after Miss Reed's defense counsel, Alan Jackson and David Yanetti, filed a public motion with exhibits outlining the defense's theory of the case, which included that Miss Reed was framed by police, framed by witnesses who were friends of Mr. John O'Keefe and Karen Reed, and that the actual killers were those at the 34 Fairview party that night. Mr. John O'Keefe's murder was an elaborate conspiracy designed to set up Miss Reed and cover up those at 34 Fairview for their being an accomplice and or murderers, and instead blame it on Miss Reed. This would be not only the Miss Reed and her counsel's theory, but this became the defendant's theory. What the evidence will show is that this defendant was in direct contact with Miss Reed and her defense counsel almost immediately upon Miss Reed's April 2023 filing on her theory of the case, where exhibits were used of police reports, names of witnesses, interviews, And the defendant began to immediately write blogs and vlogs online with his sources, never citing them out loud. But the evidence will show that those sources were misread her defense attorneys. The evidence will show that the defendant, blogger Turtleboy, has a documented history of being known as a controversial blogger who uses disparaging language, unethical tactics, and attacks the opposition of whom he blogs about by making them a target for not only his, but others' online harassment, annoyance, emotional and mental harm, and financial and economic injury. The evidence will show, as the defendant recorded himself at every turn, that the defendant sought to target these witnesses in this murder trial or potential witnesses in the case against Miss Reed with the intent to, or with complete reckless disregard for the fact that it may obstruct, delay, prevent, or otherwise interfere with a criminal investigation at any stage. Those stages being a grand jury, a motion hearing, a trial, any other proceeding that is convened during one's murder trial. These witnesses or potential witnesses turned victim of the defendant's witness intimidation. They were the subject and the target of countless blogs and vlogs with the intent to cause great fear, intimidate, influence, pressure these said witnesses to either not testify, to testify differently, and or to conform by dealing with the defendant directly if they wanted the harassment or the threats or the blogging or the vlogging to stop. What the evidence will show is that the defendant had no reason to blog or vlog about each witness in this case, as they were never the subject of any of his prior reporting. The mere fact that they were witnesses in this high-profile murder case was why he blogged and vlogged about them. The defendant had no personal knowledge of anything that he blogged or vlogged about. The defendant had no personal knowledge of anyone he blogged or vlogged about. The defendant's intent can easily be inferred by his conduct and his own words. Because, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, both orally and written, both publicly and privately, the defendant expressed his intent, his desired outcomes, and he recorded it all. The defendant has the right to any opinions he wants. The defendant has the right to express those freely. However, the defendant does not have the right to attack witnesses and intimidate witnesses in a criminal murder case. Witnesses are afforded protections under the federal and state laws that we have. And so this case is not of a whodunit. You're not going to see evidence that we collected at a murder scene. You're not going to hear from a ton of police officers talking about evidence. Instead, we have the defendant on cameras, on recordings, and with his own devices and messages and social media, direct messages, posts. Everything that the defendant has done in this case, you're not going to hear them argue that it's not him. He's done everything that you're going to see unfold to the evidence. His actions, he pressed play, he pressed pause, he pressed stop. He got into his car. He got out of his car. He went to locations. He recorded himself doing everything. He documented everything. What this case only requires is that you, as a jury, uphold the Massachusetts laws as they were intended to protect our citizens who have the courage to come forward and be witnesses and serve in a civic duty for the purposes to afford our communities to remain safe and perpetrators to be held accountable. Officer John O'Keefe deserved a fair trial. Defendant Karen Reed deserved a fair trial. The citizens of Norfolk County deserved a fair trial. One that was free from witness intimidation, especially in the highest form of the criminal law, murder. You're going to hear from every single witness turned defendant's victim in this proceeding. They're going to be here and they're going to testify. They're going to testify to what life was like prior to April 20th, 2023, and what life was like after April 20th, 2023. That's just me getting warmed up. Let's continue.
Chap here from Daniel sends $25 and says, "You truly are an award-winning journalist. Thank you, DR." Thank you very much, Dan. I appreciate that. Let's see if the turtle chats are coming in. I'm not seeing any on the email. Sometimes this happens. The email, the turtle chat, don't get patience. I'll try sending one to myself if it doesn't work. I'll check Stripe to see if any payments are coming in. Give me one moment. Yeah, we've gotten a couple already tonight. Today's May 30th, right? Yeah, we got a couple turtle chats here. Hold on one sec. Support them.
That comes in
closing. From Semelina, and we got another one from Wannabe Turtle. So let me see if I can read the messages. So I didn't get a notification about it. One sec. Okay. All right. So Ann, love the show and wish him the best in helping get message, the Carl post here. So he posted about, let's see, and News Nation right now, Dan Abrams has got, and there's John. Okay. So El Chico is a Boston police officer when you click on his name. Important to put this list.
All right, here we go. 58 minutes into the May 30th, 2023 episode. We finally get to 50 things you must ignore to believe Karen Reed killed John O'Keefe.
Blogs here. There's a lot of these blogs. And when people are asking about shit, it's too hard to find stuff sometimes. And it's good just to have a concise, if you were to just tell some random person about this and make your case, it would be hard. You'd have to go around citing all these things. It's just like, it's so much easier to have like a nice, people like lists. They like nice, concise, bulleted lists.
Right here. Aiden Carney posts on the right-hand side here. It says, Jen McCabe applied for a harassment protection order against me in Stoughton District Court today in order to prevent me from questioning her at upcoming court dates. It was denied, and I'm not happy about it. Here's why. Okay? I mean, how just ridiculous. Jennifer McCabe did not go to get a harassment prevention order, okay, because so you can't ask me questions when I attend court proceedings. The absolute, but that's what he wrote right here, and then he posted, and then he uses their picture. If that's not, what is it? Clickbait rage? I don't know what is.
And so
but that's what he is.
I decided to just put together a list here of 50 things, the top 50 things that you would have to ignore in order to believe that Karen Reed did this. And I think it's really important to put this list together just to show how stupid people like Carl Dugal is. And, you know,
thank you so much.
People like whoever, Krusty Panties or whoever's
trying
to
like, Satan,
get clout off of this. Yeah, let's get, how many likes are we up to, by the way? How many likes are we up to on the show? We're up to 358. Keep hitting that like button. X out of the chat and give us a thumbs up, will you? X out of the chat.
He says his intent. He says what his intent is. And guess what? He doesn't have to prove intent. You guys, that's what's misleading for a lot of people to talk about intent. You have to either prove one of two things, and it's by beyond a reasonable doubt. And that reasonable doubt is that either intent or with reckless disregard for the fact, and then X, Y, and Z. And you can say that he 1000% he had complete disregard, reckless disregard, because guess what? Chris reached out to him. People were reaching out to him to try to, hey, if you're going to be writing a story like here, like, hello, nope, complete disregard for the facts. And the only way that you can get to facts if you're a reporter is to say that you interviewed people and that you actually try to talk to people. He was not trying to go to people's houses, and he never tried to knock on Julie Nagel's door. Okay, that was not his intent. He says his intent is to, the neighbors put some pressure on her. To do what? To tell the truth, insinuating that she didn't tell the truth. Okay. And that would be to influence, persuade, intimidate into changing one's, like, all the things that you cannot do. And then to cause emotional harm. Right here, he says that he knows that it's getting to Jen McCabe. He's admitting the intent. And if you made a huge mistake and you let me know that it got to you. When I know that stuff gets to you, I turn it up. He's fucked. He is 1000% absolutely fucked. So actually, David Yanetti did him zero favors by tipping him off. Because if he would have never been tipped off to this, he could never talk about it. Okay? But this is the type of guy that you can't tell things to because he's his own worst enemy. Okay? He's like the type of guy that if you're having a surprise birthday party for somebody, you don't tell him. He's the type of guy that, the last thing that his kid should probably ever tell him is a secret. Okay? You don't tell this man shit.
Okay. And we're on Rumble too. Let me check the Rumble.
Because you have no idea what the man is going to do with the information.
We got 88 people on Rumble. Cool. All right. So hook that up. Give us a like. So I'm like, we need to, these crusty panties of the world. It's like for those who haven't read it, it's just good to refute them. Just with a nice bulleted top 50.
Hey guys, guess what? There was 1.4K watching
hook that up
at that time.
We'll get into that momentarily.
Oh shit.
But anyway, you didn't see an alert. A lot of people didn't see an alert. Is that right? You have to ignore not one of these. You have to ignore all.
Okay. So he had 1.4K watching and he thought it was like, oh my fucking God, I have the world watching. Okay. And this is how reckless he is. Then when, again, he was able to throw around the likeness of Karen Reed, David Yanetti, Alan Jackson, all this shit is what got him here. And because he basically, in a way, was blackmailing Karen Reed, because if Karen Reed didn't give him more information, give me the material, I'm running out of material, then I'm going to start making up my own material. And that's literally what he did. Why do you think the rolling rally happened? Because he didn't have any fucking material. He also had to compete with mainstream media because unlike the truth, which is everybody was covering this case, he had to stand out and he had to be like, hey, look at me, look at what I'm going to do for you. Keep sending me the bones, not, Court TV and the other people. But he needs to have but this is the first episode where the anti-Karen stuff comes out, but he really wants to be the anti-Turtleboy, and he can't talk enough about himself.
Okay.
And so
we might never have this unless people start talking.
Okay. Do you see this picture he's using in his blog? That is a picture straight out of the fucking Canton police took that photo. To have this photo and literally not say to Alan Jackson or David Yanetti or Karen Reed, because you're in contact with them, and to say, wow, the caddy's missing, Nicole's caddy's missing. That's how dumb he is. Look at the picture that's up. That's a picture from the fucking Discovery. He's using a picture from the Canton Police Department that they took that day. And this is when Matt pulls in their SUV. Well, guess what? There's only two vehicles because he had the other side too. He had both angles. There needs to be a third vehicle there at the very least. This dude, he needed Karen Reed to give him everything because he cannot think for himself. And when he does try to think for himself, he commits crimes. Because that's what criminals do.
But we do have is pretty solid proof that she didn't do it. And let's just run through it. All these things that have to be ignored in order to believe it. So number 50, Michael Proctor interviewed Jen and Matt McCabe and Brian and Nicole Albert together at 11:30 a.m. at Jen.
First of all, right there, Nicole Albert was not there. So how does he not get that right? He doesn't even get that right. Nicole Albert was not there at Jen McCabe's house. So Michael Proctor interviewed Jen and Matt McCabe and Brian and Nicole together at 11:30 a.m. at Jen McCabe's house. Nope, false. Despite all four being at 34 Fairview Road at 9 a.m. This gave them time to get their stories straight. They were all there at 34 Fairview at 9 a.m. But guess what happened at 9 a.m.? They were being interviewed by Lank. Right? Just completely doesn't fucking say shit about that. And also Brian Higgins was there. Doesn't know shit about that. This gave them time to get their story straight and ensure that no one's story contradicted another person's story. Proctor chose not to interview them at 34 Fairview Road immediately after finding a dead cop on the lawn. Here's a picture of McCabe's car in the driveway at 9 a.m. No, it was actually there at 7 fucking 05 in that driveway right there. But so where is he getting this from? He got that from Karen Reed. He got the picture from. That picture, though, was not taken at 9 a.m. That picture was taken way earlier because it's from the Canton Police Department.
This is a fast fact that gets.
So instead of attacking the investigation, he wanted to attack the witnesses who were labeled witnesses at the time. And everybody should know that that's a no-no, right?
Often overlooked in all this is that this image right here was taken at 9 a.m. on the day John O'Keefe was done. 3 hours.
It was taken at 7:20, if not earlier.
Earlier, his boss was found, or his body was found on that lawn. And that's Jen McCabe's car in the driveway. And
what's missing though? You know what he can, because Karen gave him all that information. You know what he couldn't fucking do on his own after reading the material and actually understanding what vehicles should be there? He couldn't even get one thing. They're missing an SUV. Where is the caddy? Where is Nicole's caddy?
There's not much snow there. Well, 2.5 hours later at 11:30, Michael Proctor interviewed Jen and Matt McCabe and Brian Albert, but he didn't interview them here. Why wouldn't he interview them here? Because there was just a murder there. and they all know that, so they can't be in there. So they need to get out of there. So he gives them time. What are they doing in there? They're getting their story straight. Of course they are. And then they're going across town, and they're going to have an interview over there, the friends and family meeting. And they go over there for the friends and family meeting, and Michael Proctor doesn't record anything and just interviews them. And
so why doesn't he harp on that? That's what you want to harp on, is that there was no protocol there. He doesn't bring him down to the station, and he does not record the interview with a recording device, even though he has a cell phone. And come on.
They get time to get their story straight and pretty informal. So that's one thing you'd have to ignore. Second thing, that there was no interviews conducted by Michael Proctor at on video or at a police station. Not one. Not Karen Reed, not John McCabe, not Brian Albert. All of these reports were interviews. Not a single one of them is recorded. So everything you're reading about what witnesses said is the testimony of Michael Proctor, who we know is a liar and an unethical, corrupt cop. So you can't trust anything.
So he is not able to bring anything forward of showing Michael Proctor in any way, shape, or form before this case of him being, under scrutiny for anything that he's claiming. That's what you'd want to try to do. Okay. He's unable to do that. Again, making it about the investigation.
He says, remember the 3-point turn. How do we know Karen Reed did a 3-point turn? She denies it. Jen McCabe and Matt.
Who's she denying it to? We have no idea that she denies the 3-point turn, right? Because actually, if he goes by the written work of Yuri and Proctor in the report, it says when they interviewed her at her home, at her parents' home, that she says that she does make a 3-point turn. You understand that? That's what the report says. And what he fails to connect and to say here is that every single report is hearsay because none of these people wrote the report. So instead of attacking somebody, like, these cops wrote this shit up, man. These cops were responsible for these words. We need to find out if those words are really what they said to these cops.
McCabe deny it. Well, because Michael Proctor said that she said it. That's literally all it is. So there's that. Number 48. No one besides Karen Read was ever considered or treated as a suspect, despite the fact that she has no criminal record, no history of violence, and is a well-respected member of the community. Those things matter during murder investigations. Your criminal background matters. And she has no criminal background. And she was the only one who was ever considered it, despite the condition of his body, despite a serious lack of evidence, despite no taillights being found at the scene, nothing. She was the only one who was.
And see, this is why Turtleboy needed so badly for everything with Lindsay Gaetani to go away. Because at least he knows one thing, that your history matters. Your history matters.
Ever.
But let's be clear, Lindsay Gaetani never once took back anything she said. She wrote that shit in that whole counter. Go back and read that shit. She fucking called him everything and held true to it and laid it out in a very, very interesting timeline. She's never taken that back. They've stipulated the shit, whatever the fuck they've done, and the courts refused to prosecute based on, like, this girl's a fucking nut, you know?
Treated as a suspect in this. They picked their target early on and they worked backwards from there. 47. The Commonwealth story is that a vehicle going 5 miles an hour in reverse killed a 6'2", 217-pound man, causing multiple skull fractures and lacerations to his arm, despite the fact that he landed on grass and snow. You have to ignore those facts.
Okay, also, it was not snowing at the time, because you can't have it both ways. I would never be saying. Also, he knows at this time, because he's been over there to 34 Fairview, that there is that ridiculous, I've been there. They have that curb. And I'm telling you, if you fell back, that would fucking 100% crack your ass, crack your head. Now, do I think that happened? No. But if you're going to be unbiased, right, then you'd have to say that. You'd have to point that out. And then you would have to ask yourself, is it able for him to fall back like this? Or what would have hit him? If he falls back like this, but what causes the arm? You know, is he able to wake? Is he able to stand up from that, take some steps, and then fall down? And then he's going to fall down underneath this, and his phone's going to be underneath him.
Come to the conclusion that Karen Read killed him. Or in this case, I guess you have to accept those facts, which is even more insane. 46. There was never an accident reconstruction report that ever took place. Every time somebody dies in an automobile accident, the police do a accident reconstruction report. Nothing like that has ever happened in this case, ever. And you just have to ignore that in order to believe that Karen Read did this. And you have to think that's normal for no accident reconstruction to happen. Because, of course, if you did an accident reconstruction, you would notice how absurd it is to believe that she killed him going however.
Okay, so check this out. Turtleboy did them no favors. When he would report on stuff like this, where do you think he's getting his information from? Where do you think this top 50 came from? So he's outing stuff about the defense. And then what does that then allow you to do if you're the Commonwealth? To go get things and to go do things that you maybe didn't do. So again, I'm telling you, he was putting stuff out that he had no business putting out, because all it did in the end is cost Karen Read a lot fucking more money. Okay. And it tipped the fucking, at every turn, the prosecution, the Commonwealth is getting tipped off left and right, because this man needs a story, because this man needs that. I'm putting it out. It's me. And he's just blowing up anything that Karen Read was trying to keep under wraps, because the element of surprise is amazing in a criminal case when you are the defendant. He cannot be silent.
For many miles an hour in reverse, and that she assumed that he was dead and felt comfortable just abandoning him there. So there's that. 45. John O'Keefe's body had to have been struck with enough force to have flown 12 feet in the air, because he landed 12 feet from the curb. You just have to ignore that. Just accept that Karen Read did it.
Thanks, Jason.
Number 44. You have to ignore the fact that the Commonwealth has not even attempted to come up with a theory for how John O'Keefe died. Like, that's a big one. They've never attempted to explain how he died or how he got lacerations on his arm. Like every murder case has a theory. The prosecution has no theory. You just have to accept. Listen to this.
The damage is to the right rear corner panel of the defendant's vehicle. Embedded within the bumper to that vehicle is pieces of cocktail glass. The victim, Mr. O'Keefe, is last observed on surveillance video, external surveillance video from the waterfall establishment. He left just prior to going to 34 Fairview, with a cocktail glass in his right hand. Same arm that's injured, the same type of glass that is then recovered from the bumper of the defendant's car.
This is the first I've heard of the Commonwealth's new position after 15, 16 months that somehow John O'Keefe was stabbed or cut up with a broken cocktail glass, which would produce these injuries. That makes absolutely no sense. It just doesn't pass the same test. These are not from a cocktail glass. Who did that to him? Is there a new theory that Karen Reed got out of the car, broke a cocktail glass, then wielded an edge of that cocktail glass and cut up John's arm? Then John stood there while she jumps in the car, slams into reverse, then hits him with the car, with her tail light in the back of the head.
It's like, is that what happened? I don't know, because they haven't said it. Logic and thought, and just ignore it. Okay, number 43, you have to ignore the fact that no one interviewed the man who plowed 34 Fairview road that night to see if the body was lying in the snow. You have to ignore that because a plow came through there multiple times during that night. And body lying there. They would have at least been asked, did you see a body?
The Commonwealth is withholding several pieces of evidence, including DNA from John's body, that exculpates Karen Reed, which they have been ordered by the court several times to give it to the defense. That's what he writes for number 42.
Sir.
Well, we know that's not true.
To ignore clear in that street. Except there is, my dude, because Darren, just know this, sir. I know shit that you don't know. Okay. Yeah, so there's that.
But
there is no evidence of snowplow clearing that street. Except there is, my dude, because Darren, just know this, sir. I know shit that you don't know. And there's some shit I might know that sources tell me that I am not able to report yet. So just
there you go. There you go. Again, if Cosgrove went through this, he could point out to the fact that, yep, there's sources that people have told me stuff that I'm just not able to report yet. And so rather than, he does not have to highlight people's comments because he needs to seem like he fucking knows something. Like, who cares? Who the fuck cares what people are writing in your fucking comment section? Live comment section. This dude cannot not do it. He just can't. And he continues to blow up his own spot with everything that he's going on to today.
No,
but
there's some shit that I know that you don't know.
He hasn't changed one bit. He's the same person.
So we'll get to that later. Anyway, back to this. Number 41. If Karen Reed killed John O'Keefe, you have to ignore the fact that she knew that the angry voicemail she left him, in which she said, I hate you, John, that would be used against her as evidence. You just have to ignore that. That they want us to believe that this woman killed him. And it's like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make myself look more guilty by leaving an angry voicemail. No, you know what a killer does? They leave like a message that's like, I love you so much, John. I would never do anything bad to you. Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, he just tells on himself right there. He just tells on himself right there. You got to be crazy if you think that, why would I ever record Karen and then send it to Karen? Because that's what fucking trolls do. Because that is when people be like, yeah, like, why the fuck would he do that? Because he was blackmailing Karen without any words. Just like he did to the defense team the entire time. Like, letting them know and letting them think, I've recorded everything that we've ever talked about. You motherfuckers want to fuck with me? You better have my back. Doesn't have to say a word, though. Sends the recording to Karen Reed, just that little snippet, right? And Karen Reed's like, fuck this piece of shit. I cannot wait for the day that Karen Reed can come out, and she's going to tell you every fucking thing about this piece of shit. Everything that he tried to make seem a certain way, and it wasn't. Because it's coming. It is so fucking coming, it's not even funny. And when Melanie Little wants to get her fucking head up out of his ass, maybe she'll fucking realize that she just wasn't getting fucked by the Commonwealth, but she was getting fucked from this little turtle fuck. Because it's coming.
So you just have to ignore that. So that's 41. Number 40. You have to ignore the fact that every single person who claims that Karen Reed said, I hit him, is directly related to the Albert or McCabe families. Because that is the strongest piece of evidence that they like to bring forward, right? That Carl Dugald mentioned when he was confronting her outside the courthouse. Why'd you say you did it? And Alan Jackson had to interrupt and say, she never said that. And who's saying that she said that? Is there any audio of her saying that? Any body cam footage of her saying that? Anything? Have we heard the 911 call? Have we heard the voicemail? Are there any voicemails left on John O'Keefe's phone? from that morning, from the scene? I don't know. Maybe there is. Maybe we'll hear it someday. And maybe there will be information on there that you haven't heard yet that will blow your fucking mind. Let's just put it that way. Do I sound confident that Karen Reed didn't do this? Just understand that's for a reason. That's for a reason. I would bet everything on this. Like, I would literally mortgage my entire business, my future, my reputation, everything on this. And what would you bet in return, Carl Dougal? Like, that's what I would like to know. Put your money where your mouth is. Like, Carl Dougal, I'll give you 10-1 odds on this right now that Karen Reed did not do this, and it will be proven in the court of law. What are you willing to put on it? Nothing? If you're not willing to give me the 10-1 odds I'm giving you, if you're not willing to put your money up on that, then what is your opinion worth? You're obviously not very confident in what you say if you're not willing to bet on it. So let's just bet on it. And again, I will give you 10-1 odds. That means if you bet $1,000, if we bet 1,000, I will pay you $1,000. This will be the ratio, 1,000 to 100. So,
because he realized, oh my God, I'm going to give him 10,000. He's a cheap fucking frugal fuck. So he's like, oh God, I can't do that.
If she did it, I give you $1,000. If she didn't do it, you give me 100. That's pretty good. We can increase the numbers for that. We could do, 10,000 to 1,000. We can go 100,000 to 10,000. Whatever you want to do. Those are good odds, man. If you're that confident in your opinion, then you should put your money.
I'll take the odds that you go to prison. How about that? 10-1. 10-1. How about that?
Illuminated by snow and obstructed, missed it all. Nobody, you just have to ignore that.
Right here. This is the best defense of Karen Reed ever, is the fact that nobody saw a body on the lawn. Okay? Nobody saw a body on the lawn. Best defense for Karen Reed. And she has the witnesses that he went and fucking harassed. Let me tell you how nuts this is. Ready for this? Karen Reed, all of the witnesses that he went and harassed and threatened and did all of this shit to. Do you understand that they were actually her witnesses? That they were actually going to be, every single one of them were testifying that they did not see a body on the lawn. Every single one. Don't you want to, I don't know, pump that up? Yeah. They didn't see a body. Nobody did. It's because John wasn't there. Okay? Not because they were just lying. Because it's Alan Jackson, his version is that John just wasn't there yet. And Turtleboy's over here like, no, that's what Alan Jackson thinks, but I think he was, and I'm just gonna, instead you don't get it. All these people are lying. They knew that his body was there, and they just continued, to continue on with their night. And I'm just like, why? Why wouldn't you be telling the world and embracing the testimony that's going to come, and that not a single person saw a body on the lawn? Instead, he attacks all these people that said, yeah, there's nobody. Let's attack all these motherfuckers. Let's discredit these people. Like, how dumb can you get?
You have to pretend like you don't know that information in order to believe that Karen Reed did this. Number 38, you have to ignore that John O'Keefe's body had no bruising, no cuts, no broken bones on his abdomen, legs, midsection, or left arm, despite the fact that his midsection, his hips, his stomach, that area of his body, his thighs, that would have been the part hit by Karen Reed's bumper if he was standing up. But instead, he's unscathed there. The only damages to this man's body are the skull fractures to his head, the eyes popping out, the laceration in the back of his head, and the 7 or 8 parallel cuts on his arm. You just have to ignore that. You have to ignore all that to believe that Karen Reed did this. 37, you have to ignore that Jen McCabe claims to have not seen a 217-pound body laying in plain view, illuminated by snow and obstructed by nothing at 6:03 a.m. while riding in the front seat of a car, specifically looking for a body. It's not like one of those things where you're just out checking your phone and shit. You're out there looking for a body. That's what you're doing at that time.
I'm sorry, but that's nuts. I would never be out there driving around thinking I'm looking for a body at 6:03 in the morning. He's fucking crazy. Thank you guys for joining me. Run it back, run it forward. Let me know what you think. But this man, he's operating on borrowed time. And I'm telling you, it's coming. Everybody deserves a fair trial. You do not harass, threaten, intimidate witnesses. Okay. The number one thing is that there's going to be witnesses that are going to be testifying that did not testify in trial 2. And when they say that they refused to testify, that is only going to enrage a jury. He has so many prior bad acts. His pattern of history is absolutely this course, which is attack, threaten, harass, and to go after weak people. He wants to go after the weak links. His words. Versus to support Karen Reed. He felt the way to support Karen Reed is to attack and show these people as scumbags. And you don't need to do that in order to show that Karen Reed is innocent, is factually innocent. You don't need to do that. He chose this path. He chose his path, and he did it all for money. He did it all for fucking money, a documentary, and all this crazy ass shit that he is never going to get. And you should ask yourself why he fucking bought a house and put so much money into it. Because he's going to get sued. And they leave your house alone. Peace out. See you on the next one.